Hear you if your screen's working well. Famous last words. I hope not. I hope not. Let's see. Uh, Payne, can you hear us there? Let's see. I've got a bit of a cold today. I'm a bit under the weather. Sore throat, cold, bit of fatigue. So I hope I don't sound terrible. Microphone sounds like it works well, which is great. That's good to hear. So yeah, perfect. Screen share. Yeah, amazing. You can see everything. Looks like it works well. Fantastic. Amazing. Perfect. Cool.
That's. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Awesome. Cool.
Amazing. Amazing. Fantastic. We'll give people a couple of minutes and we'll start very shortly. Thanks for posting the agenda there, Juan. Awesome.
Oops, wrong button. I feel like a boomer. I don't think you can see my screen still, right?
Not anymore. It's stopped sharing.
Yeah, I'll share whenever we start talking about the current agenda.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. No rush. So we're gonna give people another minute or so to roll in, and then we'll get the show on the road. Yes, people are wheels and they are rolling. Awesome, awesome. Okay, I'm gonna grab my headphones. Just give me a sec, and then we'll get the show on the road. All right, test, test. Headphones should be working. Can I get a thumbs up from the recorders that we're recording? Perfect. Awesome. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Indexer Office Hours. Today is Tuesday, the 26th of August, and this is Indexer Office Hours 222. And Juan has kindly posted the agenda in the chat there, so do feel free to check it out. It's Tuesday, innit? Indeed, indeed, it is Tuesday. Yeah, we love it. We love it. For anyone who is new to Index Office Hours, this is the town square for Graph ecosystem participants to come together and discuss the most important and relevant topics for indexes. You know what I'm going to say next. As always, this is a conversation and we do love participation, so feel free to get involved in today's conversation via voice or text. And if you're having any challenges with that, let me know and I'll try and get that sorted for you. As a reminder, this session is going to be recorded and posted onto public channels like YouTube. So if you are concerned about privacy, please bear that in mind. Uh, and without further ado, we're going to move swiftly into the Reaper Watch section. But the issue is, I don't see a Carlos here. So
No,
what
no,
I'm going
no.
to do?
Carlos
Oh,
mentioned he won't be joining. He has some issues, so I will be
okay.
taking over uh, in his place. So forgive
Okay.
me if I say stupid things about Repo Watch. Hopefully, I can manage. Okay,
Sounds good.
I'm gonna go ahead. The only updates are for execution layer clients, and that includes one update to Firehose Ethereum version 2.13.0. This release includes critical updates to the authentication configurations affecting user-defined layers, including renaming important headers, which operators must adapt to before upgrading. Additionally, a new authentication plugin has been added that requires an API key feature for seamless integration with the graph market. A fix was also made for a thread leg on the file reader in Tier 1. This is an yellow urgency. Authentication changes require timely adaptation. Then we also have an update for Arbitrum Nitro. There are no new releases, but there's a summary here which says that the releases include bug fixes and improvements, notably the introduction of a new log indexing system that may cause increased CPU usage and log indexing latency. Operators should be aware of configuration changes impacting how maintenance and log queries are handled, but are not required to upgrade immediately. There are important upgrades, but not critical, and the release tag is 3.7.0. That's pretty much it for Protocol Watch, so I'm gonna be handing over to Juan now. Thanks, Juan. Okay, for Protocol Watch, we do have a few things since last week I wasn't here due to a personal issue. We do have, yeah, exactly, the Spider-Man meme. We do have a few updates to the disputes, but first, there is a new thread introducing the new council member, Arno Schenk. So yeah, if you're interested in the new council member, it's linked in the agenda. And for the disputes, which last week we've been handling a lot of disputes. All of the disputes are for the same indexer, unfortunately. But disputes from 39 to 43 are already handled and already executed. 44 will be, given that it's exactly the same behavior. The indexer is essentially just copy pasting POIs from all the indexers, which is a clear breach of the arbitration charter. So it's going to be handled swiftly. But we always need to give at least 1 day for the indexer to say something. And given that it was open yesterday, we will be trying to close it between today and tomorrow. Also, executing transactions for arbitration requires people to actually, sign in a multisig. So it takes a little bit of time to coordinate. But aside from that, everything's being handled. Do they know they're being disputed? Well, I hope so. I don't think so. I don't really know how to let them know aside from creating, a forum dispute thread. Sorry, and of course having the data on chain. So I don't think we can do much more than that. Aside from that, the forum research has the core dev updates there. So that includes semiotic, GraphOps, Pinax, Wonderland, Streaming Fast, and Engine Node. And for the contracts repository, we have a few open PRs related to Horizon, Sepolia migration, and the Graph Horizon service, subgraph service. And that's pretty much it for Protocol Watch. So I'm going to be handing over to Kate now.
Awesome. Thanks, Juan. Similar to some previous updates, but we're getting a little closer around timing. We're looking to hand over the GGP for getting indexing rewards for Sepolia and Chapel to the council for a final vote this week. So I'll make sure to be posting updates around timing in the indexer channels here so folks can get ready to support those chains if you're not already. And we are nearly done with our testing for Unichain, so that should also be coming up in the docket as well. And that's where we're at with the full protocol support for now. Thanks.
Alrighty. We got a question here from Derek saying, do they know they're being disrupted? Oh, it seems to be responded to. I see a thumbs up. Okay, cool. Well, is Slim here? Slim is here. I've just seen the Slack message that you sent me. Sorry for the response, but it seems like we're moving to next week, so we'll move on then. Now we have the good fortune of having Payne with us today to share a whole bunch of information about all of the stuff he's working on to support indexers. And yeah, it's a follow-up from the conversation we had last week. So Payne, feel free to take it away.
Cool. Hey everyone. Thank you for the introduction, 𝗨𝗂. Let me quickly share my screen here. Let's see. Can you see the screen? Yes, you can. Let me also pop this out. Give me 1 second. How do I find the chat in this thing? There you go. All right, cool. So, yeah, I wanted to talk about a bunch of tools that I've built over the past couple of months, and I primarily built them for myself, but I fully open sourced them so everybody in the community can use them if they like them or feel like they're useful. So in particular, this today we're going to talk about the 𝗨𝗀𝗳𝗃𝗀 terminal UI that I built, and then we also going to move forward with 𝗨𝗀𝗃𝗀 v2, which I've rewritten to use textual instead of cursors for the UIs, and it's much more snappy, and it's a better improvement over the original 𝗨𝗀𝗃𝗀. I can show you the original 𝗨𝗨𝗃𝗀 looks like this. But yeah, like we're gonna get to this, and then lastly, it's just a small tiny tool for the macOS users that I've built in order to manage SSH connections for 𝗨𝗃2. So basically, it's just a simple UI that you can double click on a server and it opens an 𝗨𝗃2 window connecting you to that server, so that you don't need to like type that whole string of SSH with the user and that's pointing it to the actual SSH key and so on and so forth. We got to that at the end because that's the most boring one. Cool. So this is 𝗨𝗨𝗳𝗃𝗀 terminal UI. It's literally what the name suggests. It's just it's a 𝗨𝗨admin copy that runs inside your terminal, so you can literally just explore the database. Here I'm connected to the other. This is not my production database, but it's like running in parallel with my production. This will be my production database eventually, very soon. But yeah, so here you can see in the top bar that you can connect to multiple shards, and you can just click any of the shards here. For example, you go to the 𝗨𝗨 shard, and you get to see all this SGDs from it. And let's stick with the primary for now. So it has a simple config YAML file where you can put all the connections for all your databases, and they just pop up here. You can simply just click through them, and yeah, you can explore them. So here on the left, you have the Database Explorer, which is literally how 𝗨𝗨admin also shows in the UI. So if you click on, for example, in the sharded namespace here, get on the views, you can like click, for example, the subgraph. It shows you the query here that you use to generate the table, and then you have the table here with the like with the data that is in that view, for example. Or you can open tables whenever you have tables. For example, I think in the public, yeah, there you go. In the public here, you have the chains table where you have, for example, like all your chains with the Genesis hash, and then the namespace you can see here in case you need it. what else can you do with this? So let me go back to, oh yeah, and you have scroll wheels, scroll bars. It's so much useful to just go left and right and figure out whatever you need here instead of like manually scrolling. And then, yeah, let me pick up a good example of something that you can actually do with it. So I'll leave the limit to 100, and you can basically click on any column. I need to make it so that you know that you actually clicked on the column instead of just the row. Because if you click F4 here, or like just click the bottom over here, you can filter for whatever value you want. For example, let's filter for failed. And you can turn on case sensitivity, yes or no, and then you can apply, and then it filtered for failed subgraphs, and you can apply even more filters. For example, you click on the shard column here, and then you filter, you say contains or whatever the hell you want in here, even suppose regex or not. So let's stick with contains, and then pleb shard, let's go with F. We apply it, right? There you go. So you can easily navigate around and see if things went south and why. For example, I'll give you a short example of how I used it to find a bunch of stuff quickly instead of just fumbling around. But yeah, like you have filter capabilities for any columns and multiple columns at once. Back in the initial development of this, it was on the fly editing this query here to show you the actual query that it used to filter, because like it's actually it's not filtering on the UI itself, it's filtering from the database, so it loads much faster. But I'll fix it. It's just a bug that I need to figure out, like where it diverged from and it stopped working. But yeah, like I said, whenever you were editing, like we were filtering from here, it was editing the input query here, so you can literally just copy paste it and store it if you need it for later or whatever. And not only this, but you have also sorting, and it works on the fly. It doesn't matter if you filtered anything or not, it just works. As for other features that you have, obviously you can like edit this manually and like you can control enter and then it executes the query. But obviously now you've lost all your filters. So let's quickly reapply some filters. Let's just go with the health here. Contains failed, apply, and now we see all the failed subgraphs in here. And then what else you can do is export. So if you click on the export, you have two options: either export filtered data, so you literally just export exactly what we see on the screen, like with the filters applied, or you can export original data here with no filters, and it just exports everything as is from the original table. You can choose between CSV, TSV, JSON, or the SQL insert statements. And then you have the CSV options for basically just max rows. If you want to cut it off in half or whatever. But one thing that I find very useful when doing this is, for example, you can load up a very large query. Let me quickly grab it. Just give me 1 second, please. And then I can show you in a second. Give me 1 moment. There you go. Okay, so technically, if you put like this long query that you have here is literally just the one from the indexer status overview table. Like you can see how long it is. You can like execute anything you want here. Click enter, and then it takes a while to load. And then once it eventually loads, you can see all the data in here. It takes a while to refresh and reorganize the table properly, but the moment it's done, you can just grab anything you want from here, Just give me a moment. Yeah, there you go. You can grab, you can even export this, for example, into a CSV and just do whatever you want to do with it in the on your backend. You can literally just see here everything that you have in the database all at once. So it's very useful to figure out which subgraphs have underlying issues. For example, missing metadata. I can show you in just a moment. So, for example, if you look at the subgraph name here and you scroll down, figure out, there you go. So at some point, my subgraphs were missing the subgraph name. I still don't know why is it happening, but at least I can see and try to figure out like why from here. And then I have the subgraph version. I think it's I think it's actually this one. I can easily navigate around, for example, and you can see subgraphs that are missing version numbers. I think it was this one. No, maybe it's this one. Current version. Let me see. I had a table where it was actually missing some metadata. I think it's from the latest index agent version that was basically just deploying subgraphs without some things. But anyway, yeah, you can just explore anything you want from here. You can see the indexes for so let me go to one of those SGDs here. You can see all the indexes that it has created. There's nothing you can like explore from it because I don't think they are explorable, and even in pgadmin itself. But yeah, at least you can see whatever indexes you have, and if it's like an attribute index or something else. But yeah, like this is the main functionality of it. Is, like I said, it's built primarily to just be able to explore your database easily, and you can click here to create to clear the filters. But yeah, like it's very useful to just quickly identify issues that you think are happening instead of just fumbling and like trying to figure out like what's the table name with DT and like change the namespace and whatever. Yeah, it's all here. It's all clickable, super useful. You can load it up in your terminal, and that's it. So yeah, and also we have themes. Currently, they're not saved whenever you quit the application, but I think it should be an easy edit. But yeah, if you have any questions for this or feature requests or anything, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, we can probably move forward with the next tool.
Great. Any questions for this tool? By the way, Payne's got a bunch of tools that he's going to share with us. So this is one of many. But if anyone has any questions, as he said, about this one, fire away.
Nice.
Oh,
Love to hear that, Vincent.
new user. Love to see that. Do you want to share all links, Payne, in the chat so that people
Yes.
can access? Yeah.
1 second. There you go.
Nice, nice. Now the question to you, Vince, is which theme are you going to use?
Oh yeah, and
Yeah,
these columns are grabbable. Like you can make it bigger or smaller if you want to see the table better or not. There's not the best UI you can have, but still better than nothing. And it's like much easier to navigate around, like rather than just setting up pgadmin. Can we build in graph specific queries? What do you mean?
It'd be cool if we could wire this up or have it fetch, specifically from our agent and like grab the SQL queries that it's executing and be able to just execute those queries from inside of here as well.
So you want a predefined favorite query list that you can click on and it triggers those, or what?
Yeah, or like, common ones, for example, like when you're trying to, I forget the exact GraphMan command where you get the list of tables, their number of entities and versions, and whether a count like is applied or not. But having some of those common queries that we run, whether it's from GraphMan or wherever. But I don't
If you
know
can give
how.
me a list of them, I can probably figure out a way to implement this.
Oh yeah. Also on that, I mean, if as GraphMan evolves and stuff like that, more queries will probably go inside of there. Is there a way that we can? I don't know the GraphMan repo or anything like that, but if there's a way that we could pull like the active queries that can be run through GraphMan just from kind of a view standpoint, not a write standpoint, that seems like something that could be helpful.
Yeah, I wonder if like what the functionality would be in this case. Would you want the pgadmin application to directly interface with the GraphMan app, or would you want to just extract, like ask someone from the GraphNode team and just extract all those queries and build them inside pgadmin?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know which one would be better off the top of my head.
Okay. Yeah, I just wonder how easy it would be to like that. Obviously, the one that where we hard code or like give you a way to write your own queries and save them would be the easiest way to implement. But I was thinking maybe like if GraphMan evolves in the future, which I don't know how much it can evolve, but would be nice to have direct access to it. But
Yep.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe that would be some feature in the future. But in the meantime, I can definitely add the saved queries. Like you can just write down a file where it has all the queries that you want, and then you can click a button and it executes them. That would be pretty easy. I don't know how would this be implemented from a UX perspective, but I'll think about it.
Awesome.
But yeah, let me. Can you write down or like just DM me with all your feature requests so I can not forget about them. But yeah, otherwise, if you have any more things in your mind, just let me know. I'm uber down to get this as useful as possible for everybody to use. Let's see, Orion is typing. And here I thought you would say something something better than that. I really tried. Okay, cool. Any more questions? Or we can move forward with the other tool. I don't know. Alright, it's typing again. Yeah, please take my the responsibility off my shoulders. I'll do it next week. Okay, cool. Let's move forward with the next tool, assuming there's no feature requests on this one. Okay, next one, DTOP. So this basically came in as a direct replacement for 𝗨𝗀𝗃. I'm not sure if I actually have it in here. I still have it. Yeah, there you go. So the 𝗨𝗃 was basically like a tool that was unmaintained for the last like 3 years or so. It's very good in the way where you can just quickly explore all your running containers and figure out if there's anything crashing or overloading your server. Yeah, so in the 𝗨𝗃 view, you could like see the logs, but you can't scroll the logs. You can just see whatever is there on the screen. And then you could stop, pause, restart, or exec shell, or even open in browser. And then you can like see this tiny little stupid graph, which can be implemented in DTOP as well. But I figured there's better things to implement in the meantime. But yeah, like this is the thing that I was dealing with. I was having trouble trying to customize it as to my needs, basically. We don't have a filter here or like a search option to like quickly figure out like which containers you want to interact with, and so on and so forth. We cannot I don't think you can sort these. Yeah, you can't sort the columns at all. There's like it's pretty much as bare bones as you can imagine. So I figured time to build a better alternative, and then DTOP v1 came into this world. It's built entirely by I think it was, yeah, it was Claude, but not Claude code. So everything you see here was literally just copy pasted manually and run. It was painful. But yeah. Oh no, actually, this was actually built with Claude code, Opus and Sonnet on version number 4, so not 4.1 in Opus. Yeah, I was with Sebastian in Laos when we built this. But yeah, like you can select any containers from here. This is obviously running Docker, in case it wasn't clear. So it's, yeah, for Docker containers. And you can select anything you want from here. You can page up, page down. For example, let's go to see base, reth, OP node. You can click on L. You can see the logs that are happening on the screen. And for a bunch of particular apps or RPCs, I built a tiny script that makes the logs feel a little bit more natural to read. For example, this is how it would look like without the normalizer script. So you can see like it's a bunch of gibberish, and then the logs versus this. It's much easier to quickly glance and figure out what's happening. Not only this, but you can also wrap the code or not, and then you can scroll left and right, see the logs if needed. You can change the tail to 100, for example, like no, let's say 10. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It was super buggy to implement everything, but keep in mind this is v1. So what else? You can search and filter. For example, let's filter for optimistically. Boom. Now you can only see the optimistically like, yeah, words that appear on the screen. A different way of doing this would be, for example, let me open up the query again, the filter query again, unfilter everything, and then do plus sync and plus generated. Boom. And now, well, fuck it. I'll show it in V2. Technically, it works. You can filter in or out words by doing plus or minus. So you can do plus sync, minus optimistically. And if there's like a log line where it has both, it will filter out that log line, but it will keep the ones from, yeah, you get the idea. It's like a simple regex tool to explore the logs. And then you have What else? You can filter the time range for a specific time off from the server if you want to like get the easier understanding for what was happening inside that timeline, and then you can export everything either in the current directory or a custom path, and you get like a nice little file for log sharing if needed. I use this numerous times. It's a lifesaver without having to learn all the commands to filter the time in and out, and then the last like X amount of logs, and then export everything. Is like this saved me so much time throughout the last couple of months. But yeah, like this is the main functionality. Oh, and if you click on enter on here, you can exec into the container. Well, the ones that actually can be exec in. So, for example, Polygon, you can see here, and like which Aragon, you can get direct access to everything that is inside the container. You can exit, goes back into the app, and then you can also inspect, and you get here the just the regular Docker inspect here, but you can also do this. You can filter. So, for example, network. Boom, you get all the things that share the network settings. For example, I don't know what else. IP address. I think it was like this. Yeah, you can see like you can easily get the IP address of the container. Super useful stuff. So if you want to debug, like you can, for example, you can see whatever the arguments the container itself started with. So you can debug if something went south and why. Again, I used this numerous times instead of just typing docker inspect blah blah blah. So much faster, so much easier to deal with. And then lastly, you can filter based off like you can filter the container screen and sort by column, but filtering is more important. So it filters by either the container name or the container image. So you can, if you type geth, you get all the containers that are running geth currently, and you can interact with, say, I don't know, 𝗨𝗀𝗪 mainnet geth archive, whatever. But yeah, this is the implementation of V1. Still super functional, but once I built the PG admin thing, I realized that it's both Claude Code and ChatGPT came up with textual module for Python, which by itself, like it's made so that it can create a nice little UI inside the terminal. This was using curses, so I figured let's rewrite that. So, boom, we have the V2 version of the DTOP. It's still work in progress, but it's very much functional. Now, we shall explore the functionalities now. So, like before, if you click the search button, you can filter or search for everything you want. If you type geth, it highlights geth containers, or like geth anywhere it says geth on the screen. And then if you don't want to search but you want to filter, if you type geth, you get the same kind of functionality as before, only that now it shows in a nice little pop-up. But you can also filter for exited containers, and it would only show you the 2 exited containers that you have. Like, for example, in my case, is Bitcoin mainnet and testnet indexers. And then you can revert back from that to all containers, click away, and then 𝗨𝗀𝗪𝗀𝗀 your uncle. Well, what else? You have a possibility to resize the columns by clicking C. It used to be shown in the footer, but not anymore since I made a bunch of changes. Need to add that back in. We can put a minimum or a maximum amount of spaces for each column. So whenever you resize the window, for example, it keeps a minimum or a maximum. So you don't like it can be perfect for your view. I need to fix this issue where you can if you scroll, if it scrolls up, it's because of the refresh on the screen. It's not. It should be easily fixed. But yeah, anyway, like I said, it's still much of a work in progress. Next, cool. Let's inspect. Let's go to, like, if you click enter here, it opens a nice little model that you can click on. For example, view logs, inspect, stop, pause, restart, exec shell, recreate, or remove. Let's for now go to see the logs, and now you have the logs colored in the actual log level, so you can easily glance over the log screen, and you get to see whatever is blowing up or not, and you can play around with that. So for example, now we can filter and search again. For example, let me show you. We can filter for, let me see, I want something, yeah, execute message failed. Let's see, failed. Well, let me do plus failed. I'm not sure if this functionality was carried over. And plus block. No. Yeah, that actually works. Minus block. Yeah, there you go. So you can filter in and out whatever you want based on the filter. And you can also search call. Oops. If you see search for ETH calls, you can like, it highlights all the occurrences on the screen. You can delete that and it goes away. And you can like right now it's by default showing the Docker time. I will make it not show it so that it shows nicely the actual container time displayed by the container. But if that's a mismatch, you can easily trigger like Docker time, and you can easily see the time from the server itself. You can scroll up and down here by pressing top G here and then bottom G, shift plus G to go to the bottom, and then you can tail the time, tail the lines. For example, I want to see only the last 10 lines. You get to see the last 10 lines. You can clear everything, and you click on follow with the F button, and now it only displays the logs from the time you cleared. Yeah, like before, we still have the normalizer script. Whoops, my bad. Sorry for the flashbang. There you go. Logs view for here, you get to see by default the normalizer. You can trigger it on and off. It shows the logs much nicer. So that functionality was carried over. I was waiting for that. Yeah. Cool. And yeah, so this is basically the DTOP v2. Oh yeah, you can still do like the wrap or not wrap, but now you have actual scroll bar, so you can like actually go faster to see what's happening. Super useful. But now let's go back to this table and click on inspect. Now the inspect is an actual, it's a tree view inspect. So you can literally just click anything you want from here. For example, let's go for the args. Well, where was it? Well, you have a button to collapse everything or expand everything, and then you can scroll. I should just use the scroll wheel. And yeah, you can see the arguments here that the container was used to launch with, and then you can filter, for example, network, and then you get to see everything that has network settings in it. And then you can also search for, I don't know, bridge, and it highlights the bridge here. Super useful functionality whenever you need it, and you can switch back to JSON view. Right now it's kind of broken because you can't scroll in it. It's on the list of things to fix. Yeah, it still works with filtering, but yeah, Like the JSON view is kind of broken, but the tree view kind of works fine. Again, still pretty much work in progress, but yeah, super useful thing that you can easily glance through for any kind of containers that you have. What else? So let me pick, for example, put container agent here. You can recreate it, and it picks up whichever directory you have it in, and then it shows you the file, so you can pick the correct YAML file from that container. Instead, like if it can't find the standard Docker compose.yaml, it asks you to pick the actual Docker compose YAML file that you have for that container. I should use it. I should make it so that it uses. It auto selects the one that the container was started with. And if you started the compose with multiple compose files, it would then make you pick the right one. But yeah, for example, this one, I can recreate with selected YAML file, or just, well, simple recreate is more of just a restart. It's not an actual recreate. So if I recreate with selected, it just recreates the container. You can see here that the uptime is 0, 1, 2, and then the current time that it has been created at. And the container was recreated from within DTOP. You can obviously just stop, pause, restart straight from here. You can exec into shell, but yeah, some containers don't really have that functionality. For example, Polygon, sorry again for the flashbang. But now you're again inside the container. You can exit and goes back into DTOP. But yeah, they can obviously just remove. I'm not going to nuke my Polygon just yet. But you can stop. Like it runs Docker kill in the background and Docker /rm and just gets rid of that container fully. But yeah, so this is basically how it is right now. I'm still working on a bunch of things, but Vince says, "Wish I had a Counter-Strike flash WAV ready." That's a good one. I don't know if actually inside the Docker logs you can export. Yeah, you can still export. But yeah, like 90% of the functionality was kept. You can still like sort by name or by image or even by CPU, and it's a lot better in updating the CPU stats now, and also the other stats as well. Not that it was buggy before, but now it's like a little bit more cohesive, because you can see like the actual percentage of the of the CPU instead of just the percentage of the total, and then you can approximate how many cores it's using. And then the memory is something that I really want to work on, because if you see like all the containers that are running Rust, so for example Reth, OP-Reth, and Lighthouse, I capped manually at 128 gigs of RAM, because they have a tendency of just blowing up my entire server. And then you can see here that the containers that I manually limited to some X amounts instead of the entirety are shown to 91%, but this is just 91% of the allocated memory, is not for the entire server, but the other ones are for the entire server, because I'm allocating the entirety of the RAM from that server. So if you look into, again, I'm gonna flashbang, but HTOP here, I have like 488 gigs of RAM out of 1.8 terabytes used. So that should technically still be shown in a way here to make it more user friendly. But yeah. Nope. Well, I don't have any swap, but it works on my end with 128 gigs allocated on it. But I see some errors in in sometimes. For example, I think in here, let's actually do this. Last 2,000 lines, you can filter for error and get to see this just popping from time to time. Not sure why. The container is not dying. Everything still works. I have no idea what this error is, but it's the only error. Everything else just works fine. Like you can see here. Sorry, no. Yeah, like everything else just is fine. But yeah, that was like a quick demo for the actual use case of this. You can easily just glance over any logs you want and just filter the last lines without like having to type excessively long, stupid Docker commands all the time. But yeah, like this is published under, let me give you the URL, give me 1 second. 𝗨𝗀𝗂𝗧. So the original 𝗨𝗀𝗂𝗧 lives in here, and then the 𝗨𝗨𝗂𝗧 v2 lives under the dev tree. Yeah, the v2 has its own, well, it still has the old screenshots, but it has a newly generated README. It's still not super accurate because I built it a while ago. But yeah, it's still, like I said, pretty much work in progress. Whenever the v2 goes out, will be launched as a release. And they can install it with just a pip install dtop, because we have that namespace for it. But yeah, like right now it's like 39 commits ahead of main. And well, with the v2, it still keeps the v1 functionality, because you can run, again, I'm going to close this, so watch your eyes. You can run dtop -- legacy, and it's still like it opens the original dtop for now. I'm going to keep it like this for a while and develop in parallel until I'm fully satisfied. Even after I release v2, I'm still going to keep this around, because there might be people that prefer it with v1, but I don't know why. But yeah, I'm trying to please everyone here. But yeah, like you still have the same functionality, like nothing changed. It was like v2 was actually rewritten in parallel from the current implementation. It's still using a bunch of things, but it's fully backwards compatible. Like 𝗨𝗀𝗂𝗧 is fucking amazing. But yeah, cool. This was the dtop presentation. And then lastly, I have this last tool that I want to present. Let me turn off my screen share and reshare again the other screen. Cool. I guess you see my screen here. So this is a little tool that I've built for managing SSH profiles / connections to servers for iTerm. The reason is ChatGPT has a plugin that you can directly interface with iTerm on macOS without having to copy paste anything. You just read from the terminal. So I find it super useful, and like whenever I'm like just going around the server and trying to debug stuff, and like so for example today some SSH connection wasn't working, so I literally just opened the little option space shortcut for ChatGPT, and the only thing I typed was a question mark, and it already like figured out what was happening, just because it was having access to my terminal directly, and it told me like, hey, you need to clamp down on your MTU because WireGuard doesn't like it. So yeah, because of this, before I was using Termius. I still use it from time to time, but I tried to stick around with only iTerm, mainly just to dog food my own stuff from here. But also because like it's, like I said, it's super useful on macOS. This is the primary reason why I moved away from Windows for work entirely, and now I'm fully on macOS only. But yeah, with this tool, basically you can just set up quick profiles. So it opens like this. You can import the SSH config, and it's just opening your you need to point it to your SSH config where it loads it automatically and it just displays whatever it has in there. Or afterwards, you can just click on create a new profile and you can set it up manually. So in this case, let's go from like 𝗨𝗀𝗧𝗏 here. You can click on edit and it gives you editing functionality. You can set up a profile name, obviously, IP, port. You can add a tag to it or like set it up to a group. In my case, it's assigned to data center. Authentication, it's using public key, but you can set to whatever the hell you want in here. And then the private key, point it to 1, and then it goes to advanced. You can turn on compression. You can turn on strict host key checking. The port forwarding functionality is not yet available, but if people need it, I can enable that. Then you have the terminal, which is the iTerm settings. It's just using the default here with like the Monaco font family and whatnot. You have the commands that you run after every time it opens the connection. It runs tmux for me, so it basically throws me inside tmux the moment I open the connection. And then you have the built-in terminal settings, because it has a built-in terminal. If you want to like quickly address a bunch of issues, it has a built-in terminal. The problem with this is you cannot copy paste from here. That sucks, but it is what it is. It's just for like quick debugging. For this, you have like this terminal settings window here. I'm not gonna go over through it because I barely use the embedded terminal. I just put it in there because I find it funny. But yeah, the primary functionality is just launching item windows, like screens. And what you can do is, if I go to my favorites here, you can mark as favorites as many servers that you want. You can select all of them and then you can click connect 4 servers in tabs or in separate windows. You can add servers to groups. You can open localhost console. You can open SFTP connections. Let me show you really quick. This is super cool. So can you see the screen?
Yep.
No, but like you can't
Oh.
see the SFTP.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
1 second.
no.
Yeah, leave me 1 second.
Sure thing.
Okay, can you see it now?
Yep.
Okay, so you can like load up multiple servers. For example, I have like from 𝗨𝗀𝗧𝗏 to 𝗨𝗨𝗏4, and it makes a tunnel between your computer and the 2 servers, so you can copy paste, like you can send files from one server to the other without having to set up any permissions from between the servers, because it's using your existing SSH connections to them. So say if you want to copy the CTOP back up here, you can literally just click on transfer and it sends it to here. It reloads and then you have the CTOP here. Boom. This is just for sharing logs. You can't expect this to like it. Obviously, if it's on local host and your servers are within reach, it's fast. But otherwise, don't expect it to be like 𝗨𝗏𝗧𝗏 equivalent, because it's not. It's mainly for copying logs and dumps and whatnot for debugging. But yeah, super useful functionality. You can select localhost or any servers that you have on your list, and it does the job perfectly fine. Yet another reason why I was using Termius before is because of this. So I figured let's just build it ourselves. But yeah, I think that's mainly it. Let me share the URL for this one. It lives under here, item GUI. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot. But yeah, it's something that I built primarily for myself in this case, and found it super useful. Yeah, cool. If anyone has any questions, feel free to shoot. Otherwise, we can wrap it up because it's at time. Well, I see P2P is asking, wanted to open a quick discussion on the broken subgraphs giving deterministic errors and closing allocations. I'm not the most technical person. We touched on the default behavior last week in Indexer, but I wanted to make sure that I haven't misunderstood anything and I was all aligned on the rules. I'll let you talk about it, Orion. I don't want to interfere in this.
Yeah, I think from what I gathered, I saw a little bit of that discussion, and the charter does state that if it's a deterministic error, it should not be on the indexer to fix it. And we are looking at there are some options to give indexes better tooling to identify, analyze, and correct POI divergencies, but the development on that side haven't been a high priority. So it is not something that we do wish to push very strongly on. Like, we do wish to push on ensuring that indexes do not engage in malicious behavior. But when it comes to indexes accidentally getting POI divergencies or having or closing subgraphs as per the charter, it's not something that is a priority for us to work on. Speaking of what it is, there will be some very interesting announcement next IOH. But yeah, it's I think that is what we can say so far. That we don't have any intention to force indexes to look into POI divergencies or look into subgraphs that have deterministically failed without giving the proper tooling to do so. So that is at least my opinion there, and also what is being currently written in the charter is that we will not be opening disputes or disputing indexes that fail in close-up an allocation with a deterministic failure. So I think that covers it. Next time we could have some more discussion. The thing that we will be talking about is not specifically on this, more on some exciting new things that have been in the works. And but yeah, there are some tools that is not yet publicly available that could be helpful, and the intention is not to force indexes to create these tools on their own. If we want to have better POI convergence, then I think that's something that we would prioritize to get developed and release them. So, Abel, you asked if we should open up some more time for this next week. Yeah, I think it is valuable. Like, it's something that, at least from my point of view here, it's when it's not something that indexes have appropriate tools for. It's not something that they should be afraid that if they do it like if they close allocations on failed subgraphs with no malicious intent, they shouldn't have to fear that ecosystem contributors will try to open disputes against them. Entirely different, of course, if it's malicious or if it's something that is used to farm rewards in a way that is not intended by the charter. And that's also why over the last few weeks we've talked about having a service quality oracle to disable rewards for indexes that are not meeting a certain bar. And that is also something that I actually wanted to touch on briefly, is that that proposal is now in the public GitHub repo. I'll just put a link here, and I recommend that indexers take a look at that. Just give me a second. Yeah, I'll find it and put it in the chat here. But yeah, the intention is, yeah. Let me know if there's anything unclear about that. But yeah, let me see there. So until that time, do we have any plans? Do we have any plans to manage / report deterministically failed subgraphs and try to fix them? This is something we are planning. So that is after this discussion, we have looked at this internally, what we can prioritize to push over the finish line and share with the community regarding like BOI determinism, and I'll keep you updated once we know more there. But it's not if it's something that is a clear bug on the graph node side. Bill Payne here is now managing part of the issue board on the graph node side. There's also we also have a little bit more resources now on the development side there, where we can prioritize some key development and prioritize some of the key issues and feature requests on the graph node side that is impacting indexes specifically. I'll also talk more about that in either next IOH or the IOH after, as that is still being finalized. But yeah, for now, we do track all of these bugs and issues, and Payne is one of those that are helping with that. And we will have some resources to work on them going forward as well. So, and those resources, some of that will be earmarked to what is impacting the indexer community. So that is just a sneak peek. I'll talk more about it. Probably not next IOH, but in 2 weeks is most likely IOH. I will talk about it. And the proposal that I put the link to, that is the proposal that you might have heard in the last like 3 IOHs. We've talked about a service quality oracle that disables rewards for indexes that are not meeting a certain service quality bar. And more specifically, we saw that half of the indexes on the network is not serving a single query, or 30% is not serving a single query, and 20% is serving some queries, but on very few subgraphs. So we, yeah, this proposal aimed to implement an oracle that disables rewards for those indexes that are not meeting a minimum criteria. And it's been discussed on these calls. We also have a specific working group that indexers can join and workshop some of these criteria. So, yeah, now we are time, so I think we should round off here, but I'm happy to circle back to both this criteria, what we should do with deterministic subgraphs, what we can do with graph node improvements, and also an exciting new yeah, there's something exciting and new that we have been working on for quite a long while, that we will be giving a bit of a teaser on next IOH. So I'll talk to you all then.
Amazing. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining today's IOH. I appreciate you all for joining, and thank you, Payne and Slim, for going into detail there about the updates. Cool. Well, you heard it there. Let's wrap up, and we'll see you all again same time next week. for another edition of Index Office Hours. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.